Sure. I practice what is called civil litigation. So there's like criminal litigation, immigration, bankruptcy, civil cases. So whenever you're suing somebody, say both of you guys are in an argument and you want to sue her, that's usually a civil case. And so I would represent one of you doing that. And in that position, what I do is I represent a lot of hospitals and nursing homes and doctors and nurses that work there when those places get sued by a patient that went in there. That's the bulk of my work. And so I'm always reading documents, writing documents, stacks like this high that I'm reading every day. And it might seem like a chore, but it's actually pretty enjoyable because people come to you with problems and you have to sit there and try to figure out how to get them through it. Well, in civil cases, there isn't the distinction between guilty or not guilty. Those are criminal cases. In the civil cases, is figuring out, for example, if someone was careless, someone was negligent. Like let's say, for example, you two guys again are fighting, right? And you spilled some water on the floor, and you didn't realize that you spilled some water on the floor, and then you come walking by, and you slip on that water. And you're going to sue her. And she comes to me and says, I need you to represent me. It's an accident, right? How do I know who's at fault? If I ask her and she tells me, I didn't even know that I spilled the water. Plus, I only passed by like 1 minute before her. And so if I did spill any water, it was only within that minute. Then there's parts of the law that can say to the judge, to a court, to a jury, she shouldn't be liable because, one, she didn't know she did it, and two, it happened so fast that she may not be liable for that. Now, you may have been hurt really seriously. You may have reconstructive knee surgery, broke your back, hit yourself on the head, and go to the hospital, and you have these huge bills, and so everyone says, you should give her something. But if the law says that I can protect her by making those arguments, then my job, as much as, and those types of cases, I have to go and defend her. Because the last thing that she wants me to do is to say, oh, you know what, she did it, here's the money. So it's those kind of decisions where you're struggling all the time to figure out what your job is, what your duties are to a client, and what you can do based on what you see in a case. I'd say make a commitment to yourself. This is always a difficult subject because, you know, gangs, like I said, you guys probably have them here. I grew up with them all the time. And, you know, it's hard for me to tell you, you know, just keep your head up because I just don't know what your breaking point's going to be. I could tell myself keep my head up, and I knew what my breaking points were, and I knew that I had to push through them. But the reason why I think, in my lifetime, in that experience, such a high breaking point is because I knew that above anything else, that I had to do something, and I had to be something. And it wasn't that lifestyle. And it just you know, my first thing is you got to know yourself, and you got to know how committed you are to yourself. You know, what kind of life do you want to live? Because all this stuff that you see right now is just here for now. At some point, you guys are going to grow up. I'm hoping that all you guys go to college and make something of yourself and dictate your own life. Be in a position where someone says, hey, do you want to be a doctor or a lawyer? And you get to say, well, I get to choose what I want to be. You know, back in my neighborhood, our college was what they call in Chicago vocational colleges, which is you only have like 4 or 5 choices in your high school. You're either going to be a mechanic, you're going to be a carpenter, an electrician, you're going to work in the healthcare like a nursing aide, or ROTC. You guys know ROTC? It's like the Army version where Army comes in and there's a class where the Army soldiers, cadets, sergeants, they just teach you to prepare you to go for the Army. So those were my choices. And early on, as a freshman, they tell you, okay, which one do you want? And you got to stick to that. Because the mindset in that neighborhood, in some neighborhoods, is you're only going to be something. You're only going to be a mechanic, so might as well start now. You know, you're only going to be a carpenter, so get started. And I always thought, even then, that, no, what about if I want to be something else? You know, why do you guys have to choose for me what I want to do? I want to be in a position where I choose what I want to do. And education is the only way that you can do that. So it goes back to the topic that we were talking about. How do I get through and push through? You got to be honest with yourself and say, I can do something with my life, and I get to choose what that is. And then just push and just keep on pushing, so that when you're in a position to actually make a decision with your life, you left yourself so many opportunities, as opposed to somebody coming in and telling you, you're only going to be a carpenter, you're only going to be a cosmetologist. You don't want to be in that position. I mean, if that's what you choose to do, that's great, but there's a difference. When you choose, then when I choose for you. And that's what I would tell you guys, if I was to give you some advice, is always put yourself in a position where you can make those decisions and not have them made for you, whatever they are.
Hi, well, my name is Juan Rabago.
Hi, I'm Pablo Amdana.
Hi, I'm Miguel Gardenia.
Hi, I'm Melania Tavares. And I'm Alondra Podeco.